What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, we are going to be talking about the new available free agent, Larry Warford. I almost forgot his name for a second. I really did. Let's get it started. That's right, Larry Warford is now a free agent that is once again available, and the Detroit Lions could make an effort to go sign him. Now, Larry Warford is a very interesting player because he was actually drafted by the Lions back in 2013. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I've had a lot of questions about Larry Warford. Like, I put out a Q&A on Instagram, and I've had probably like 7 questions about Larry Warford. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I really don't want to answer all the questions over and over and over. So I was like, I'm just going to make a video of it, and then I kind of just send you guys to the video, and that'll keep it simple. So that's how we're going to rock with this one. And if you're already here, then awesome. So welcome. We're talking about Larry Warford, the 28-year-old, soon to be 29-year-old offensive lineman from the New Orleans Saints. Now, the New Orleans Saints decided to release him. They didn't want to, pay him for the final year of his deal, and now he's an available free agent. One of the top available free agents probably right now in the league. So Detroit Lions, they could be interested because you can never have too many offensive linemen, right? You always got to stack that offensive line, especially when Matthew Stafford had just went down with an injury. But like I mentioned before, we actually drafted Larry Warford. Now, before we get into too much of Larry, I want to talk about why I think the Saints released him, because I think that's always a huge factor why a team releases him, because you really want to know, right? Is it a major concern that maybe we shouldn't go get him? Well, I think there's 2 reasons. One, he struggled near the end of the season. He was a pretty good player. He struggled near the end of the season, however, with teams like the Vikings, and because of that, it was like wrong place, wrong time, because he struggles a little bit, and right in the draft, they're sitting at the spot, the New Orleans Saints, at the end of the first, where they can take one of the top offensive linemen in the draft in Cesar Ruiz, so they do it. And once you do that, Cesar Ruiz, I'm sorry, I always say Cesar Ruiz at the end of the first round, and when you take him, it kind of just gets rid of the whole idea of having Larry Warford. So they're able to cut him, save about $7 million in cap space, about $5 million in dead money, but save about $7 million in cap space and potentially add some depth where else they may need it. For cornerback and wide receiver are 2 places that they could look to add depth in free agency with who's available right now. So that's kind of why they moved on from him. It was a little bit of a performance dip, but I don't think it's anything that's so concerning that you shouldn't go sign him, because he has a lot of good things and a lot of good things to look for in Larry Warford. So like I said, we drafted this guy before, and we kept him through his rookie year, 2013 through 2016, and then the Saints signed him to the 4-year, $34 million deal. But we kept him, right? We kept him for those 4 years. And when you look at those 4 years, some people say that, we didn't bring him back because he wasn't schematically a fit, because back then we had Joe Lombardi as our offense coordinator. Now we have Darrell Bevell, which are 2 different systems, and he'd be better with Darrell Bevell. Like, I don't know about all that. I mean, I'm sure it had some kind of factor to it, but I'm looking at the numbers from Larry Warford when he was with the Detroit Lions. His numbers are pretty darn solid, okay? His numbers are very solid, and, I could have saw why they brought him back. I see why they didn't at the same time, but I feel like you definitely could, and I feel like this is a guy that wouldn't be a problem bringing back. So let's look at some of these numbers from 2013 through 2016 when he was with the Lions first. So in his first year, he played over 1,100 snaps, 1,138 to be exact. He allowed 0 sacks and had 4 penalties. That's very impressive. That was his rookie year. He allowed 0 sacks and he had that many snaps in his first season. That's pretty impressive. Then in 2014, he had 784 snaps. He allowed 2 sacks and 1 penalty. Not bad. In 2015, 812 snaps, 2 sacks, 3 penalties. Not bad. And then in 2016, 972 snaps. He allowed 3 sacks and 2 penalties. Again, pretty solid, I would say. So those were his 4 years with the Detroit Lions. One thing is that I really liked about Larry as I'm looking through his games, hasn't missed tons due to injury, right? In 2014 and 2015, he missed 2 games, but he said just kind of 1 or 2 every here and there in years, but it's nothing that's like all out for the whole season, like a Kerryon Johnson type of deal. So that's something that's very big to me is, how your injury concerns. There are huge injury concerns with him. I don't see any huge injury concerns when I look at Larry Warford. Actually, an interesting fact, 2013, all those snaps, he played in all of the snaps on offense, 100% of them, so that's pretty cool. Now, he is a right guard. He's known to be a right guard, and the Detroit Lions, as we know in this year's draft, went and drafted 2 guards back-to-back, round 3 and round 4. So that's what they did in the draft, and that's kind of why it's hard to see the Detroit Lions going after Larry Warford. Now, I'm always for protecting Stafford, adding to the offensive line. I'm big in trenches, and I think you can't have too many offensive linemen. And if you get a guy like Larry Warford, he's proven, right? He's proven. You don't know what you're going to get from Jonah. You don't know what you're going to get from Logan, but if you have Warford, you pretty much know what you're going to get, and then worst case, you can throw in one of your rookies. So I wouldn't have a problem with bringing it in. As you guys know, I did a video yesterday on the Lions remaining cap. Now, I did say the Detroit Lions wouldn't have the $29-30 million, probably, But keep in mind, just because I said that they won't have that much money does not mean they don't have much money at all. It does not mean they don't have money to go sign a free agent. They'll have some money. They still have some of the top in the league. It's just not, going to be the $30 million after they sign rookies. So keep that in mind. But they probably would have money more likely than a lot of other teams to go bring him in if they wanted to. I've heard teams like the Bears. I mean, literally every team seems to be interested in bringing him in, or at least, the fans of that team want their team to bring him in. I saw the Bears are interested in him, but they just don't have the money to do it. So, we're at least in a financially good spot where, once again, this is kind of like the Mike Daniels thing. If we bring him in, it kind of be like that situation, right? Because we have the money to go do it when other teams necessarily don't. Looking at his final year in 2019 with the Saints, I just want to point this one out really quickly. He had 970 snaps. He had 6 penalties allowed, which was tied for 16th in the league, and he allowed 2 sacks, which was tied for 35th. Again, nothing bad here. Consistently, he grades out pretty well at run blocking and pass blocking. Some it's one or the other. I don't see any kind of pattern there. It's just kind of one or the other every other year. And I thought I would compare these stats to Graham Glasgow, because Graham Glasgow actually has some pretty comparable stats. Graham Glasgow in 2019 played 872 snaps for us. He had 3 penalties and 0 sacks. Again, that's good. That's like the rookie year for Larry Warford. In 2018, he played over 1,000 snaps where he had 9 penalties, something that Larry's never had, not that many. He allowed only 1 sack, not bad. And then in 2017, he played over 1,000 snaps once again. He had 4 penalties and 3 sacks allowed. So I think they're pretty comparable when you just look at that on its own. And again, he's a right guard, and we brought in Jonah Jackson. Now, I thought Jonah Jackson would play right guard because he did that at Rutgers, so I thought that's why we'd bring him in. He'll play right guard. Stenberg can compete for left guard. So it's really, how much do you trust those guys? And for me, when I look at how they went and got Jonah Jackson, the fact that they traded up to get him, I would be shocked if the Lions brought in Larry Warford. I don't see it happening. However, I wouldn't be mad if they did it, because I'm all about, stacking the trenches and protecting Stafford. When you have a guy like Stafford that literally you went 0-8 without, you probably want to protect him, right? And if you have the money to do it and you have the ability to do it, maybe you should. But at the same time, I can kind of see why they wouldn't do it. So, should the Lions sign Larry Warford? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you, Brad, for watching.